Our next speaker, if we haven't had any adjustments, is Bruce Bryan. He's a client advocate out of the Queens Defenders, a passionate advocate for challenging wrongful conviction, an abomination. And we have so many wrongful convictions. If you knew, and I did time, 30 years, and I can tell you in that 30 years, I met many people, too many matter, who did not commit the crime. Now, nobody's no angels, but they did not commit the crime for which they were there. And this brother's going to break it down why we need to end this wrongful conviction situation in New York. Hit me, bro.
Thank you, Brother Jerome. Thank you all so much for having me. Yeah, my name is Bruce Bryan. I served 29 years wrongfully incarcerated in New York State prisons, all maximum securities throughout the state. And similar to your own experience, I've met countless men who were wrongfully convicted, like myself. I happened to be convicted in the county of Queens, had a rogue prosecutor by the name of, a former Queens prosecutor by the name of John Scarpa, who people are well aware of. And I know countless men that I sat in the law libraries with who had the same experience with this same former prosecutor. So I understand what it means to be wrongfully convicted. And I understand the importance of the Wrongful Conviction Act being signed. And I would implore our governor to sign this Wrongful Conviction Act, because the reality is this. When you talk about, the senator talked about having free movement and being able to move freely and not have fear. When we live with this fear of being wrongfully convicted and not having a pathway to be released, you know, we know that 98% of the cases in New York State as a result of the convictions are a result of guilty pleas, right? So you're talking about only 2% going to trial. On top of that, New York State is number 3 in the country with wrongful convictions. So these wrongful convictions are not just as a result of trials. They are largely a result of people pleading guilty, right? And people plead guilty for several reasons. One of which because of the deplorable conditions on Rikers Island and bullpen therapy, right? The other is because of police coercion, as well as prosecutorial misconduct. And these men and women need a fair pathway by which they can challenge these wrongful convictions, despite being pleading guilty. We've all seen what happened with the exonerated 5. Men who were forced and beaten into making confessions to crimes that they didn't commit. This is not an isolated incident. This happens far too often. Far too often, people are coerced or beaten or abused into pleading guilty for crimes that they have not committed. And they're forced to languish in prisons for years and years and sometimes decades, like myself, 29 years. Knowing that a prosecutor or a police precinct has had a history of misconduct. You know, a close friend of mine, I was fortunate enough to go to court and walk him out 2 months ago, Jabbar Walker, convicted by the Dirty 30, which is a well-known precinct in Manhattan that had a group of rogue police officers. So in so many of these cases, our people are arrested and they're forced to plead guilty, and without a pathway to say, I'm innocent, and this is why I pled guilty, and I can prove to you that I'm innocent, right? So these procedures need to be removed that prevent these people from doing this, because what you're doing is this. You are actually going everything, this is against public safety. It's completely against, because what we don't realize is jails and prisons are criminogenic in nature. So I've seen countless good guys who were wrongfully convicted, falsely accused, become criminals while they're inside, because they have a sense of hopelessness, a sense of despair, and they just say, I might as well get in where I fit in and be a part of the crowd. So this is a disservice to public safety. If we want to promote public safety, then we have to create a meaningful way by which those who are arrested, falsely accused, and plead guilty have a pathway by which they can challenge that wrongful conviction. And again, we're talking about 98% of those who are convicted are guilty pleas, right? They have poor representation. Oftentimes, they have public defenders, who are not like Queens defenders, because we are the best and we fight hard for our clients, right? But you got so many of our young people who are arrested and plead guilty because they feel like they have no choice. They have absolutely no choice but to plead guilty, but they're truly innocent, right? So how do we deal with this post-conviction discovery and providing these incarcerated people with all the material that they need to prove their innocence? This is what the Wrongful Conviction Act is all about. So we don't have, it's not even a question of do we have a chance or idea of moving throughout life in New York State without signing this. We must have this bill signed. This bill must sign in order to promote public safety. We all say we want, I came home after 29 years and I want a community that's safe. But I want a community that's safe, and I want the right people to be in this community. Those guys that are languishing and those women that are languishing behind prison bars wrongfully, they have every right to be home and to live a productive life, as I have been doing. 8 months free, client advocate and human justice advocate. Because I believe in the dignity and the humanity of us all. And when we say a certain group of people who have been forced to plead guilty and they don't even have a right to a hearing, right, to prove that they're innocent, we demand and we implore our governor and our legislators to get behind this bill and support this Wrongful Conviction Act so that we can get this passed, so we can bring so many of our brothers and sisters home who deserve to be home and live productive lives, as myself and Jerome are living after close to 3 decades of incarceration, right? And contributing to society and promoting public safety in the best way we can by mentoring those young disadvantaged youth that we see in the inner cities, because we can reach them. And it's so important that people understand we are the voice that can reach those young people. We are the voices that can reach those former gang members that are that are in the street. So you need us here to promote public safety. So those wrongfully convicted people need to be here so they can contribute to what we are doing. And let's get this, justice roadmap on the right path. Let's get this thing really flowing, and let's bring this change that we need to see, right? Because the power of the people is stronger than the people in power, and we ain't gonna let up. We ain't gonna let up until Governor Kathy Hochul signs that bill. We're not gonna let up. At the Queens Defenders, we're not gonna let up on pushing these bills that we believe that are fair and about human justice. And we support the justice roadmap, and we're behind you all 100%. And those legislators that understand human dignity is a right. And this system, as you said, is doing what it was designed to do. So we have to not only disrupt it, but we have to dismantle this entire system and produce one that is fair and just, that gives everyone a shot, whether they plead guilty or not, to prove their innocence. Thank you so much, Jerome, for having me in Justice Roadmaps. I appreciate all of you.